Hello, we're back. Should just rename this from High Tide Imbibe to the Tatamagouche beer review show at this point, right? Because we got another one from Tatamagouche. I did another beer order from them because lo and behold, something new popped up on their website the other week. Every time I look, it seems like there's something new. So this is the first of two reviews we're going to be doing tonight. And this one is their First Light Czech Pilsner. And I think this is another one that's like something they previously brewed at one point because it's got their 10 years celebratory thing on there, which if I'm not mistaken, I think denotes that hey, we brewed this at one point, so hey, it's back. If that's incorrect, well, I'm not an expert. So okay, do they have a batch number on these now? Looks like they do. Maybe. Okay. Water, malt, hops, yeast, 4.8% alcohol by volume, and it's a Czech Pilsner in style. And let's go to a couple tabs here because we have a little bit to talk about when it comes to how this beer was brewed. So I'm going to share my screen now. First, we'll go to the Tatamagouche website. So crisp, clean, and balanced First Light Czech Pilsner showcases locally floor malted Pilsner and Czech Saaz hops. This highly crushable lager boasts a rich, I don't need to, rich malt character from traditional decoction brewing. And the rest of this is all tasting notes, so we don't need to know any of that. So we can go to there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share something on decoction brewing really quickly. Because this was a new term for me. I was not aware of this. So let's do that. So this is from craftbeerandbrewing.com. And this is taken from the Oxford Companion to Beer, which I own back there somewhere. Definition of decoction. Decoction mashing is a traditional and intensive method of mashing. While the method was once used by most breweries, today decoction is a controversial topic among brewers. Many German brewers, among others, claim that it develops malt character, depth, and superior foam. Others feel that it is a waste of energy and time and is unnecessary now that modern, well-modified malts are available to everyone. The basic principle of decoction is to move part of the mash, boil it, remove part of the mash and boil it, I should say, and return it to the main mash, which is held at a constant temperature. There are two different aims at boiling one part of the mash. To use physical pulping, which impacts the cell walls of the malt, and two, to raise the temperature of the bulk mash to a defined higher temperature after mixing both parts. In the days before thermometers, the decoction method made a multi-temperature mash achievable and repeatable. They say the boiling of the grains helps to destroy the cell walls and makes the starches more accessible to the malt enzymes. And basically, there's a lot more here. Wow. But basically, the theory behind this, I guess, and like they said, there's controversy apparently. But the theory is that you're going to get more depth of character out of the actual malt flavor compared to just like regular brewing, and which could be an important thing with like a Czech Pilsner because you're kind of only getting certain basic kind of beer flavor characteristics out of a Czech Pilsner usually. So we'll see if any of that has anything to do with how this beer turns out or not. Well, who knows? If it's a good Czech Pilsner, honestly, that's all I give a shit about. We stand really good Pilsners on this channel. So if I get one of those, I will be happy either way, decoction or no decoction. All right. So it looks the part. It's a pretty pale straw color. It looks a little bit more kind of golden on the screen there, of course. Head looks good. Looks like it's going to hold a little bit. Let's go to the aroma. So this is this classic straight up Pilsner, and Czech Pilsner at that. I mean, it's in a way indistinguishable from, say, like a Stella Artois or something along those lines, which also employs Saaz hops pretty much exclusively. It's got that, but I mean, this has a little bit more oomph to the flavor. It's a little less like muted than what you'll get from like a mass produced beer, of course. Very much your typical Saaz kind of aroma, a very floral, slightly herbal, slightly earthy kind of component in there, but mostly kind of like a floral kind of start to it, and just smells good. Floral, grassy, slightly herbal, slightly earthy. Beautiful hop, one of my favorites. So versatile when it comes to putting a decent aroma in any sort of lager you're making. And now we'll just go right to the taste. Cheers. Oh, wow. Okay. Mm. Maybe there's something to this decoction process. So right up front, a little bit of a biscuity malt, um, kind of a floral quality to it as well. But the finish here is definitely a little bit stronger than um, what you'd be accustomed to with a Czech Pilsner. Czech-style Pilsner, usually you've got a fairly light kind of bitterness. Like Saaz hops are not for bitterness at all. Seems a bit more bitter here, and I don't know if that's something to do with the decoction of the malt, like mixing with the actual Saaz hops, but I'm getting a bit more earthy, more dry, more bitter kind of finish on this. That's very nice and refreshing. This is really good. We got CB Fall in the chat here saying, very good review. Thank you, sir. Hope it's warm where you are, Lee. Well, it is not warm where I am, but well, I guess it's warm in my house, but we just had like our first real serious cold spell of the winter this past week. And this week's going to be a little warmer, but not a lot. So yeah, I think we're well into like the real shitty part of winter. Generally, in the last few years, we've had pretty warm winters now, just with overall kind of like climate change and stuff going on. The seasons are not what they used to be when I was a kid. That's for sure. Yeah, I remember back in the day when I was a kid, you start getting like snow in like October or November, and it's just like fucking frozen cold for like a good 3 months or more straight. 3-4 months. Not so much anymore. Lots of rain. You do get like cold weather, but it doesn't usually stick. Like for first few months, you get a little bit of rain, a little bit of cold weather, maybe some snow, but it doesn't stick. And then you get like 1 or 2 weeks where everything's just shit, and and then it pretty much just gets on the other end of it, and then you have more weather like November and October again for a while, and then you hit quote unquote summer, and that now becomes a boiling just fire hellscape. What can you do? It's our world, we got to live in it. CB Falls says same here. Yeah. I'll honestly, I'll take 1 or 2 really cold weeks during winter for a winter that's otherwise fairly mild. I don't. I'm not. I like cooler weather. I don't like super cold weather. That's the thing. So if we can get the world destroyed enough to where we can somehow balance it out, that like every season is just one big like extended fall, I'd be down. Fall all the time. That'd be great. Anyway, back to the beer. So this, so like the higher dryness and bitterness that's kind of coming out of this, it's latching onto the sides of the tongue, makes you want to take another drink. Um, Kind of akin to the more German Pilsner in some ways. And I guess it makes sense because this process is more of a German process, I guess, from what I was reading in the little history blurb there that we were reading for the definition of decoction. So this is kind of a Czech Pilsner that's been kind of almost Germanized to some degree, but it's still got like that lightness that a Czech Pilsner has. So kind of best of both worlds a little bit, maybe. Either way, it's a neat spin on the Pilsner, and you know, the weird process aside that they're doing in this, um, it's just a damn good Pilsner. I'm happy to report that Tatamagouche can make a damn good Pilsner. So I'm going to give it an 8 for style. I think it's pretty damn good. Not the best one in the Maritimes, but it's up there. It's definitely up there. And my own personal preference, I'll say 8.5. I got a bunch. Like I bought 12 of these, and then I got 12 of the other beer I'm going to be reviewing tonight. I'm happy with this purchase. Let's put it that way. So yeah, the First Light Czech Pilsner. You can get it at if you're in the Maritimes, or actually I think they ship everywhere in Canada now. And you want to try this out, go to their website and pick yourself up some. I'm stumbling over my words, and I've only had one drink. That's a good sign. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And if you're watching live or whatever, or if you just click to the next video that I do, I got one more review to do tonight, and I will be back in a little bit to do that. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.